Welcome to Bay Talks Podcast. I am your host, Shaquana Shotwell. And as you guys know, this is where we break toxic cycles, heal childhood trauma, and build healthy relationships. And today I have a very special guest with me, Rosalind Brown. Woo! Called Roz the Realtor. Very dear to my heart. So Rosalind, introduce yourself. Tell everyone who you are and what you do.
Well, as she already said, I am Roz the Realtor. It took me a couple years to get to this path. I'm sorry. I'm nervous. This is my first podcast, you guys. I am a mother of 3. I have one daughter that passed away, so I like to call myself an angel mom as well. Aside from that, I sell real estate full time. I've been full time for 2 years. It was a quest to get here. I went from selling 2 houses a year until I totally put the passion over the profit. And I went from selling 2 houses a year to 20 plus houses per year. So that is me, and I'm excited to be here today.
Yes, awesome. So you guys know when I thought about women and success, Rosalind was one of the first people that I thought about. I was like, oh no, I have to get her on this podcast to talk about this because her story is so amazing, you guys. And I'm gonna let her share that with you. But we're just gonna jumpstart. We're gonna get into these questions. So, Rosalind, tell everyone, why do you feel it's important for a woman to be successful?
I just feel like we're in an era now where women are no longer dependent on men, right? And then on top of that, we have these kids that are looking to us, like you talk about, like generational, curses and stuff like that. So like we now have these kids that are looking to us for the example. So to me, it's like mentally it's important because you want to show up and show that I am that chick, woman, right? And then also for our kids, like to show them like you can't do this because it's not expected for women to do the things that we do. So like we're beating the odds like every day. So I just feel like in the era that we are in, it's a little less difficult to like sit back and say like, I'm just going to take whatever life throws at me, right? Mm-hmm. Because it takes a toll on you, especially like with Instagram and all the stuff we see and everybody's doing all these successful things. And like to be behind these cameras that I'm not doing anything successful or at least trying to be successful. Like, that's my take on it.
Yeah, I think that. I just want to piggyback on what you said because I think you said something really important, especially about the mom part, because we have our daughters looking at us now and it's like, okay, they're now seeing women do amazing things. So now it's like, okay, it's not like you're competing, but it's like I can show my daughter that she can do these amazing things as well. And we all know what better way to show your children something is by leading by example. So that's awesome. And I think outside of the social media, because we all know social media put a lot of pressure on women, and like you said, you're looking on social media, you see all these people posting these successful posts and everything that they're doing, and you kind of want to get in the game. They inspire you and they motivate you, so you want to be a part of the game as well. But I also think about, like you said, the era has changed so much, thinking about our grandparents and, what those values that was upheld in the household, a woman normally doing the household things, cooking, cleaning, and then the man going out and making the bacon. But now things have changed, Not saying it's not women that still do that, because there are, but a lot of women have been breaking ceilings, look at Kamala, so you just got so many examples and it's like, wow, like I can do this. So the more examples that you see, it just inspire you to want to either do the same or do better. So I definitely agree.
Right.
Definitely. So speaking of that, my next question. What do you feel are the characteristics that determines a woman's success?
One of the big ones for me, of course, determination, right? One of the big ones for me, and I heard it somewhere before, and it's crazy because I didn't even know what it meant. I had to Google it a couple of years ago. But the lady said, I am relentless. She was actually on the Shark Tank. So, you're trying to sell yourself. But she said, I can do this because I am relentless. I'm like, relentless? So it's something that stuck with me. And it's kind of like one of those things where no matter what's happening around you, no matter what's going on, no matter what anybody says about what you got going on, in order to be successful, you have to be able to quiet the noise and continue to say that this is what I'm going to do. Even me going into real estate full time, everybody around me thought I was insane. I went from selling insurance, and I could literally go in the house, and if they sign up, I'm making $800 within 24 hours. If I did that 2-3 times a day, like You know, so I went from getting paid in 24 hours to getting paid in 30, 45 days. So everybody's like, are you crazy? That's a saturated market. There's too many people that's realtors. You'll never, but they not me, right? And
Right.
even without me foreseeing how much money I would make and how many houses I would sell, like I had the relentless, that word is kept like you have to be relentless regardless of what
Mm-hmm.
everybody says. Like, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. And I used to get up every morning, not even knowing what's going to happen in 3 to 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
but I can do this. And you know, for me, I feel like in order to be successful, you have to have that relentless because you're going to have even the people closest to you that are going to be the naysayers. So
Yes.
for me, it was proving the people closest to me that listen, I can do this. Let me show you, right? And now my biggest cheerleaders, right? So
Right. Yes, I love it. Relentless, relentless, relentless. You know, that's an awesome word because it reminds me of consistency. You know, when we look at people that are successful, you know, I always say you cannot be successful in nothing that you're not consistent in, you know, especially as we're starting out, we're looking at our beginning and then we're looking at someone else's end. And we're like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm just trying to get there. I'm just trying to get there. But the more you do it, the more consistent you are. And if you're relentless, because like you said, there will be naysayers. And the naysayers most of the time will be family, will be friends, the people that are near and dear to you, people that you expect to support you sometimes won't. So I think that relentless is like that passion that goes along with you wanting to follow your goals and wanting to do it so much that you're never going to stop. You know, it doesn't matter who's there. It's just like, this is what I want and I'm going to do whatever I got to do to get it.
right,
So
right.
I love that word relentless.
Consistency is, I almost forgot that one. I always tell people when they say, how did you do this? I'm like, listen, consistency is key. We have a thing in our office. My broker always says consistency equals commission checks. And I always ask my team members, what are you doing consistently? When you start telling me what's not working, what are you doing consistently? And I
Yes.
said the speech, I don't know if you saw it the other day, and I said it. That's another thing that stuck with me because there's certain things that stick with me. And I went to a thing and it goes back to the consistency. I went to a seminar and the guy said that if you get up every morning with an axe and you hit a tree in the same spot every day, at some point it has to give. And I'm like, if that ain't the truth, and
Mm-hmm.
on them days when I don't want it, I don't feel like it, you got to get up, you got to keep it moving. So yes, consistency.
So since we're on that, like you said, you got to get up, you got to keep it moving. I'm gonna just throw this question in here. What do you do on those days that you don't want to keep it moving? You know, because there are those days, you know, because in this entrepreneurship, because you know, we're both there, you know, it's like a roller coaster. Some days you high, some days you low. Some days you like, okay, I'm in it to win it. Some days you like, man, I don't know if this is how you feel. You know how it goes. It's like a yo-yo. So
Right.
what would be some advice you would say for women, you know, on those days that you just feel like, you know, you're not really in the mood, the passion might not be there, you're kind of second guessing yourself. What are some things that you can do to remind yourself of why you're on this path?
For me, the biggest thing, like I mentioned before, you know, I lost my daughter or whatever, so it's a little harder on them days when I don't want to get up. So for me, it's kind of like, all right, my self talk happens in the morning in my bed before my feet hit the ground. Because one of the things I say is once my feet hit the ground, it's a wrap. Like I'm going for it, like
Mm-hmm.
no matter. But laying there in that moment is kind of like if you don't do this today, like you know, they always say what you do yesterday what happens today is a product of what you did yesterday, right? So it's kind of like if you don't do this, you know you need to get up. You know, just that self talk. Like, and sometimes I'll cut on like I like Les Brown. I've got on to this guy named Jim Rohn. You know, I'll go on YouTube and just cut it on and listen to it before it's like listen. And I think about my affirmations because I have my affirmations. So, you know, I'm thinking about my affirmations and it's kind of like, hey, you got to get up. And then it goes back to what the kids see, what you're doing. And then some days, I feel like some days you're allowed to say, I'm not getting up today, but I'm not going to sit here again tomorrow, right?
Yes.
But at the same time, like, I just realized that, well, in my field, you know, one mistake can mess up a whole week. So it's like, you got to get up. What you like my kids being on spring break and me not having to take them to school in the morning is a struggle because it's like I don't got to take them to school. I don't got nobody to clock into, but it's a self-discipline. Like you got to get up. How bad do you want this? You know you want. And honestly, I noticed that on them days when I don't want to get up and I actually get up, that's when I get the calls. Hey, 4 calls. Hey, I want to, you know. like, so I'm like, dang, I got 4 referrals in one day. Like, and those days that I don't want to answer the phone, those are days that I don't want to get up. So I've come to feel like on those days, oh, you better get up. And then once my feet hit the floor, it's kind of like, let's go. Like that's just my energy.
Listen, I had to put that word in the chat so I don't forget. Self-discipline.
Yeah.
Listen, so I'm going to just share a little story for me today because that was the word that came up to me today. So I had already did my calendar, you guys, for the podcast episodes, right? So everything is already set. Everybody already have their dates. Today when I got up, from the moment I got up, like my day just went all wrong. My car got towed. I had the Uber to get my car. Thought I left my work laptop inside the Uber. Got to work, had a crazy case. It was a death case. It was just nothing was going right. Got off of work, went to my lash appointment. I was double booked, couldn't get my lashes done. You know how we feel about our lashes. So I'm looking at the time and I'm like, oh, this day just nothing not going right. I don't have my hair appointment. I'm going out of town on Friday. It was just nothing was going right. Even my dude, he was like, man, you've been taking L's all day. I mean, that's just how it was. It was just one of those days. So I was this close, you guys, to calling Dominique and saying, hey, maybe I think we should reschedule this podcast episode. My day, I'm just not in the mood. My energy, all these different things. But it was like as soon as I was getting ready to do that, I heard the Lord clearly say, self-discipline, self-discipline. How bad do you want it? You know, even on the days where you feel like I'm not in the mood, you know, because you're going to have days like that. Even on the days where you feel like, man, like I said, I was having such a bad day, emotionally drained, just tired, frustrated. And the Lord literally told me, like, self-discipline, Shaquana, because that's the only thing that's going to set you apart from you being yourself in this field and everybody else. Because like she said, the field that you're in is saturated. Most fields are saturated right now because we have a lot of people emerging right now, which is a good thing. But the thing that's going to set you apart is your self-discipline, your determination, consistency. And I like the word that Rosalind said, relentless. Because you have to be relentless about your goals. You know, you have to be consistent about your goals. And I could have easily said, man, ain't nobody gonna be worrying about this podcast. Ain't nobody gonna tune in, you know, like, and we do that a lot too. That's another thing I want to bring up, you know, because we easily talk ourselves out of our goals. And that's why it's so important that you remind yourself why you're doing this. You know, you always got to have a why. So I always ask people when they say, well, you know, I want to start this, I want to do this. And I'd be like, why? You know, it's not rude, but if you don't have a why, you're not going to have self-discipline. You're not going to be consistent, you know, and that's why you see a lot of people start things, but they don't finish it. Or people talk about things, but they never start it. Because, you know, what is your why? You know, is this something really pushing you when there's nobody else to push you?
Yeah, that is a fact. That is a fact. That is a fact.
So listen, now for our third question. What are some issues that a woman may encounter during her journey to success?
I think the biggest one is just feeling like you're not good enough. Of course, you know, even when I thought about, you know, when you think about success, even in whatever industry, you know, like we talked about, like, you know, women, you know, were in the house before. So now we're out the house, but the men are still here, right? And even when I think about even fashion, like Fashion Nova is owned by a male. Forever 21 is owned by a male. So it's like, at the end of the day, even in my industry, like the men talk to you as if they're, you know, and it's like, I'm right here with you. I can do it. Right? So I think like some of the biggest struggles is like, you know, feeling am I doing the right thing? You know, am I showing up correctly? Am I good enough to even do what I'm doing? You know, but you have to, you know, that self-motivation and just like, listen, I got this, I am this, I can do this, you know. So and just at the same time, also like making sure you're balancing as a mother, mommy and work life, like making sure that, you know, I work so much, I'm on go so much, and it's kind of like, wait, my kids over here, and they're growing fast. Like I'm looking at my son, it's like, wait, I don't want to miss that chasing success, right? So it's like trying to balance both. So I'm always like instilling in my daughter, like, today we're gonna have a mommy and me day, you know, because subconsciously you think about those things as you get older. You know, I always talk about my boyfriend at 30 something years old. he talks about when his mom used to go outside and they used to do picnics outside. And it's like, those are the memories that he remembers at 30 something years old. My mother wasn't into that type of stuff, but, me like trying to figure out like, I have to create those memories because when they get older, because, they are going to be a product of what they saw or what they, so while I'm trying to chase success, I don't want to I have a daughter and a son, I don't want, my daughter to grow up and feel like I'm chasing the dollar and I don't have time for my kids. They there as long as, because a lot of people feel like they can money, like as long as I can buy whatever it is that you want, but I'm not there. So it's like balancing that too. So trying to be a mommy, making sure that I'm showing up, making sure that she knows that mommy's here, making sure that I'm still being a good mommy, whatever the definition of that is. So, even Monday, like I didn't even realize that it was spring break Friday, so I kept him out of school Monday. Not even realize that I shortened the week even longer because I was like, I've been on go for like a whole 8-9 days. Like, and I struggle with, okay, can you watch my kids? So, it's a lot. So I took him off school Monday and we spent the whole day at the Hard Rock, and I was like, how was your day? Did you enjoy it? So, I tried, so I think like for me, the biggest struggle is balancing mommy and work life. Because it's okay for daddy to be on the go. But mommy's expected to be here, cook, clean, like you said, do all that stuff. So I think for a woman, we have a lot more weight on us than our male counterparts. And that's the toughest part for me. So.
I agree. So 2 things that I would like to pick out that you said: balance, which is really good. I love it because I think that's probably one of the biggest struggles for women is trying to balance their personal and then their business. Even moms that don't have their own businesses, they're still working. So they're still trying to balance their work life with their personal life. You're still trying to be the best business owner and you're still trying to be the best mother, the best wife, a daughter or whatever it is you may be, because most women are in caregiver roles. Even women that don't have children, a lot of them are still caregivers to other people. So I think that is one of the biggest struggles, for women. And then 2, you're still trying to balance that and you're still trying to compete in a field that's male dominated. So I'm glad you mentioned that because, even though we see a lot of women that's emerging and doing big things, they still have to work. It's like they have to work double the hard because it's like, I have to balance my work life. I still have to be a good mom, but then I still want to be a boss. Because if I slack at my job, then it'll be, see, that's why women should be doing that anyway. And then, then if I'm not doing what I'm doing at home, then my husband looking at me like, okay, well, what you got going on? So it's like you're getting pressure from both sides. Right. So it kind of just leads into my last question, like, how does, being successful, how does that affect your mental health as a woman? Like, what do you think are some of the biggest things about us, in that journey to success? How does that affect our mental and emotional health?
I think we all need a therapist.
Thank you for saying it.
Like, for real, like I just feel like it takes a toll because, like I said, trying to be everything for everybody. And for me, one of my biggest things is you hear the thing, you can have it all. And I feel like, I think me and you even had this conversation, but I'm not sure. But like, you want to have it all, but then a part of me feels like you can't. Because it's like, how? Like, we're still human, right? So it's kind of like, mentally, it's like, okay, I want to be the best partner, spouse. I want to show up in that area. I want to be a good mom. I want to be this entrepreneur breaking records. Like for me, I'm trying to be like amongst the top percentile of realtors, right? But that takes a lot. So trying to be like a top realtor, trying to be a mommy, trying to be a partner, and just trying to take care of yourself. Because sometimes we discount ourselves. For a long time, I wasn't getting my hair done. I wasn't getting my nails done. It was all about my baby. The crazy part at the time, I only had one. And I wasn't going nowhere. I mean, it had to be a good 5-6 years of this whole window. And I was like, wait, what about me? Right? So, I think that mentally, and I haven't even figured it out, it takes a heavy toll on us as women just trying to be great and mentally feeling like, can I do this? Am I doing this right? Wait, I'm not doing that right. I may be doing this right, but then I'm not doing that right. I may be
Right.
Listen, it takes a lot of strength. That's all I can say. It takes a lot of strength. Like somebody just put very stressful.
Yeah.
Stressful is an understatement. I don't think they made a word for it, right? And I
Right.
feel like it's crazy because I look at every successful woman, and I hate to say it. I'm like, now what's going on in her life? Because something in there ain't right, right? So whether it be not a good relationship with your parents, or whether you maybe can't have kids, or maybe you have a problem keeping a boyfriend, or maybe like everybody has the issue. So that's why they always say never be envious of anybody's situation because you never know what's going on behind closed doors. Because I have
Exactly.
people that I think are, I look at as successful. They're like, I envy you, and I'm like, really, right?
Right.
Like, okay, like, me and you have conversations, and I love the fact that you have so much depth to you. Like, you're able to look at situations and say, okay, look at it from this avenue. Like, I don't possess that. Like, I don't this is the way I see it. This is the way it is. You like, no. Let's look at the other people involved. Like, I don't possess that, right? So, everybody, I just listen mentally. Lord have mercy. I don't have that.
That's that therapist in me, always trying to say, okay, well, let's look at this side. Let's look at this side. I would say, mentally, what you said, a therapist. I always tell people everybody need a therapist. You need somebody, and that's all a therapist do. We think that therapists are just somebody that we talk to because we have mental issues, or we may be depressed or something like that. But a therapist could be something as simple as a coach. Somebody that encourage you, somebody that give you more insight on what you think you already know, somebody to add different perspectives and just all of that. Somebody to help you self-reflect. A lot of things that's hard for a lot of people to do on their own. That's why I'm so big on self-awareness, and I always try to talk about that because a lot of us grow up and we never even heard of the word self-aware. We don't even know what it means. We don't even know what it means to assess ourselves in every situation that we're in. Because it's so much easier to just point.
Right. It's your fault, not mine.
Right. And I'm that friend that's always like, well, friend, well, let's see, let's try to see what happened. Because I understand, like, especially when we're going through things and we have a lot of stress on top of us, it's easy for us to not self-reflect. And then if we don't self-reflect, we don't grow. So that's why it's important that we self-reflect. You need somebody in your life. So you need that support system. And that support system can come from, like I said, a business coach, a life coach, a therapist. I'm not going to say your friends because friends are usually like-minded. So their perspective is going to be like yours. So they're going to be like, yeah, friend, you right, friend. Forget the people, they wrong.
Yeah.
Right. So you kind of need somebody that's neutral to kind of say, but let's look at it this way, and then just add some insight to your situations. So Rosalind, tell everybody what you have going on right now and what you can do for the people in the realtor market. Let us know.
Well, like I said, I am a full-time realtor. I buy and sell. I help people buy and sell homes. When she talked about the why earlier, I did not know my why when I got into real estate. I truly found my why. At first, it was like, how much money they make? But it was crazy because I wasn't really making no money with that energy. And I have a strong belief that God puts you where you need to be. I met a young lady who was selling like 50 houses a year. I'm like, what's she doing? She look like me. She ain't that much older than me. So I reached out to her, and she had this platform where you come in and you sit down with her and a lender. And literally, a lot of times in our community, a lot of people, we are lacking in home ownership. And the reason being is because we feel like we can't. Like, it's like this fire that we just can't take down. I had a lady that was 60 years old, and she told me, she called me and she said, listen, I'm 60 years old. I've been renting all my life. She paying $3,500 for rent. I've been renting all my life. And she said, I'm going to put my trust in God. I'm going to put my trust in you. Can you show me how to purchase a home? This lady been working at the Hard Rock since 1999. I didn't even know the Hard Rock was open in 1999.
Wow.
401k that's been sitting since 1999. So imagine what that looked like. Credit score was on point. Literally, all you needed is credit, your income, and your assets being like how much money you have, be able to liquidate 401k, whatever it may be. But needless to say, I was able to put that lady in a 7-bedroom home that had
Wow.
60 years. And when she got the keys, she was shaking and she was crying and she said, God, she said she felt like this can't happen for her. And I'm like,
Wow.
and it's so many people in our community that feel like they can't, and you can't, even down to renting. I fixed and flipped. Honestly, if you would have told me years ago about flipping, every flip I've done, I've made 6 figures. I'm not going to say this market is kind of tough right now, but I can even show you how to do that. I watch people blow money on all type of things, and I mean that's putting down 20 grand or less, right?
Come on, girl, tell the people.
Listen, so like whether it be investment, whether it be, I tell people like, real estate is the way. Every wealthy person has real estate. So let's get our piece, whether it be your own home. I learned from another realtor, she said that she started with a duplex, then she got a triplex, and then she got a fourplex. All this with 3.5% down, right? So while we spending money on all these other things, like it don't, right now, you could take your what they call stimmy.
Hello.
Your stimmy and your tax return, because they dropping together.
You're right.
You can purchase a home, right? So it's all about having the credit. And going back to what I said, the platform that we have, you literally are on a Zoom call. We used to do them in person, but COVID. You sit down with me and my lender. We go over the whole entire home buying process with you. You have these people. You have us as your team here. And I've even grown a team as a support, right? So you don't get that really anywhere, right? Even my lender, like the fact that she's on these calls on top of having these files, like what we offer is like unheard of, right? So we truly, truly show you the way. And even if you're not ready today, it's like if we run your credit and she's like, hey, over the next 3 months, I need you to do 1, 2, 3, 4. As long as you do 1, 2, 3, 4, when you come back in 3 months, she's gonna be like, approved, let's start looking, right? And I'm going over the home buying process so you truly understand, because people come to me, oh, I haven't saved the $70,000 I need. Who told you that? You buying a mansion? People here, they're like, oh, one girl told me, okay, they said I need a 700 credit score. I'm almost there. Who told you that? So we here to kill whatever myths you heard. We're here to buying a house is like a fingerprint. What happened with Shaquana is not going to happen with Sally. What happened with Keisha not going to happen with Mike. Like, so we truly need to come up with your blueprint, which is what we do. And like I said, like being able to be in this platform, and I'm naturally the type of person that wants to help. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I've tried a whole bunch of things until I found my thing, right? So I'm truly able to like take individuals and truly show them the way. And that is so, so satisfying for me. And that's where I found my why. Like when a lady told me like, you made my dream come true, I was like, I'm a part of making somebody's dreams come true.
Listen.
I didn't know it was that, right? So it's like to be able to show people, like I say, generational. I've helped people find investment properties, all that good stuff. Like I truly, truly, truly just want to help our community. But aside from that, I want to be a listing agent as well. So I help people buy a lot of houses. I've done that. I have a team behind me, a support system behind me. We do these calls. I do about 2 or 3. I was doing about 3, 4 a day, and I'm like, wait, it was taking up my whole day. So I had to put them on a couple days a week. So I don't do them every day, but I have an assistant that schedules them, along with my team that I have behind me that I train the same exact way. But yeah, that's me. Aside from that,
wait, really quick, I want you to tell the people, because you said something really good about the myths, and that's why a lot of people don't even contact realtors to buy homes. So can you tell us some of the things that people say that's not true about the home buying process?
Well, like I said, one, the credit score. You can get a house for as low as 5 with as low as a 580 credit score. People don't know that. Like I've done it, even in the midst of COVID. Like I had somebody with interest rates being so low. Somebody with a 582 credit score, and their interest rate was 3.5. That was like, I was like, is this really happening?
Wow.
So normally the low interest rates give you a really high. I mean, a low credit score gives you a really high interest rate, right? But that's not the truth. I mean, well, it is the truth, but with the interest rate being so low, what's considered high is not really high right now, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So that you can buy a house with 3.5% down, 3% down, depending on your credit score. Of course, the better the score, the more favorable. What else do I hear? Oh, I got student loans.
Loans, that's a big one.
Student loans are a major factor if you have a low credit score. So FHA, they basically want to hit you with, this may get a little technical, but they want to hit you with 1% of whatever your student loan is. So I'll give you an example. I had a young lady, her credit, she had like $400,000 in student loans. So therefore, they want to hit her with like a $4,000 payment, right? So then that looks like she can't afford a house because you got this $4,000 payment when it's not really $4,000, but that's the logic. But if you go with conventional, which requires a higher credit score, 660, 680, right? With that situation, they'll take the IDR payment. So say the IDR payment is $10, $50, whatever that is what they use for your debt to income. But the offset is you got to have a higher credit score if you got these student loans. Because if you got these student loans and a low credit score, it doesn't work. You won't be able to get a pre-approval.
So, a lot of my listeners got student loans. So what would be a good, so what would you say would be the best loan for them to get if they have student loans?
Conventional, but they would need to work on their credit. You got to be up in the numbers, 660, 680, 650 may work, but 660 I've seen has been successful. They don't want to deal with you if you have a low credit score. You have to have a higher credit score. Even if it's deferred, all that stuff. You're like, it's deferred. It don't matter. Oh, one big one. I told somebody today, she said, I'm going to pay off these collections. Whoa. Those people have already been paid. So in some cases, I'm not going to say it all, in some cases, I think the limit is like $2,500. I want to say, don't quote me on that. But this is why we do our buyer consultation. So before you start people, let's get these buyer consultations so I can tell you what's the real deal. So for instance, anything over $2,500, I think that's the number. Don't quote me on that. They don't even care about it. Like the loan people don't care. So if you go say, I'm going to pay ABC funding that I owe money, I'm going to get them this $2,000 out my stimmy. You just wasted $2,000 because you didn't need to get them that. That could have went towards down payment or closing costs. And I think a certain percentage of it, I'm sorry, I just had a blank stare. But I had a blank. But yeah, that part. So the student loans, higher credit score, conventional loan is more favorable when you have the student loans. And then there was one more thing I wanted to say. It's the student loans, the collections. Keep that. Let's run your credit first before you start paying these collection agencies because you might have medical bills. Some of those are forgivable too. To an extent. So again, fingerprint. We need her to run your credit, and then she'll say, "Okay, we need a credit repair person to remove this. We need that removed." But we want her to say that's what you need to do. Let's not waste so much. Let me go pay them off so I can get this over with. Because it's not going to help your credit. It's already bad. It's already a charge off. It's already there. So what we want is to completely take it off because it's not going to go anywhere.
Okay.
So, so those are some things that I hear people say, and I'm like, no, wait, no. Oh, one more thing. You talk about college. If you're fresh out of college, so you have to have 2 years worth of work history. People like, you can switch jobs for 2 years. It's not too many times. So when people feel like they have to be on the same job for 2 years, you do not. You just have to have 2 years of consistent work history. And if you have a gap, you have to have a good explanation for that gap. Okay. But you can use college. So say you went to college to be a nurse for the last 2 years. As soon as you jump out, as long as you have a job letter, you can buy a house.
Okay.
So they give you 2 years worth of college as work history.
So if you did like an internship in college, that would be considered like your work history?
I don't know about an internship, but your last 2 years. I gotta ask you about the whole internship thing.
So just your last 2 years, like just schoolwork.
Right, but it gotta be like right after you graduate. Like you can't do 2 years and then say I'm taking 2 years off and then hey, what about So you gotta say, hey, I got a job offer. I just finished nursing school. I got a job offer for $80K a year. We can use that job offer letter.
Okay.
Get you a home.
Okay.
So yes.
So basically, the people need to know it's better to just come in and do a buyer's consultation before you start going out and trying to fix your credit and trying to do all this other stuff that people say you need to.
Oh, I paid Joe Blow to fix my credit, and it's like the stuff you need them to take off, you don't even need to take off, so now you wasting money. Let's start here. I always tell people, I had somebody tell me they're not ready to the end of 2022. That's fine. We're going to call you every month to find out what's going on, how's your savings going, Did you call a credit repair person? Maybe you needed a trade line. Did you get that? We're calling and we're like your accountability partner. So like when you're working out, right? But keep in mind, I do list homes. So if you know anybody, your mom, your cousin, maybe somebody inherited a house, whatever that may be, I can list the home as well, and I can do that fast. So, so yeah, and then also I just want to throw in, I started a summer camp for my daughter that passed away called Jada Club. We do that every summer. One of the goals is for it to be bigger than YMCA, right? So putting that out there in the atmosphere from my lips to God's ears. So I started the Jada Page Foundation, which we have a summer camp, and we also have book bags in her honor. I wasn't pushing them as much because of COVID, but Broward County said they're going back to school in August, so I'm pressing the gas on that. And yes.
So tell the people how they can find you, and then I'll list some of your pages on here on social media.
My name is not the same on all platforms.
Oh, we know, Rosalind and Dominique.
So on Facebook, it does say Dominique Brown, but I do have a business page that is Rosalind Brown. Dominique Brown. Of course, Facebook started when I was in college. Everybody called me Dominique. That was my middle name. I hated Rosalind growing up. I felt like an old lady. I am named after my grandma, so I was like, I sound like somebody's grandma, right? Oh, JadaPage.com. Shop JadaPage.com. I see. How can I purchase the book bag?
JADAPAGE.
Yes.
Okay.
JadaPage.com. So yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, so yeah, Dominique was my middle name, so I ran with that for a very, very long time. When I became a realtor full time, I was like, what is my name gonna be? What is my name gonna be? And Dominique wasn't fitting to me. So hence Roz, right? So on Instagram, I am Roz B the realtor. I wanted to be Roz, but that was taken. So Roz B being my last name Brown. Roz B the realtor on Instagram, and on Facebook is Dominique Brown, but I do have Rosalind Brown as a business page. So yeah, that's where you can find me. I think on Twitter, I don't really use it too much. Don't make me laugh. Don't make me laugh.
Okay, let me see. Okay, you told them where they can purchase the book bag at. Let me see. And the information about the summer camp is on that page as well, right?
No, that's Instagram Jada Club.
Okay.
Make sure. I think it's an underscore though. That's Jada Club. Yes, that's starting this summer again.
Is it Jada Club underscore?
Oh, let me find it. It's Jada underscore club.
Okay.
Jada underscore club. So, yes. So, yep. Talk about the daily struggles. The person that ran my Jada Club, she passed away unfortunately in October. Wow. So I am really wearing many hats. When I say God is really like, hey, Superwoman. I don't know what kind of plans he got for me, but baby.
So. Look, you definitely have been fulfilling them. Dominique has been doing a lot, you guys. Like I remember our phone calls and our talks about these things. And look, you making it happen. And I think it's important. And I just want to say this because I know that this is one of my friends that I can call when I want to do something that I know that she's going to be like, this is what you need to do, and it's going to get done. Like when I did my summer camp last year, this was who I called to ask the steps I needed to take, what I needed to do. And she gave me a step-by-step 1, 2, 3. And I was just on the go, so it's important. Right. That's why it's important that you surround yourself around people that are doing successful things. And even if they're not doing it, they're striving to be successful, because they always say the people that you have around you are the people that basically determine your end results, because they're going to be the people that's pushing you, supporting you, and making you accountable for everything that you say you were going to do. Even with this podcast, she texted me, she was like, oh, did you start the podcast? When you do the podcast, like just making me accountable, and I love it. And I think, that's something that I encourage all women to have. Make sure that you have women around you that encourage you, women that truly care about you and truly care about your well-being and you being as successful as you can be. So, I thank you guys for joining us tonight. I thank Rosalind for coming on. Is there anything else you would like to add before we go?
Ashley Smith had a question. She said, don't fix your credit right away. No. Book a consultation. Go on my Instagram, click the link in my bio, fill out the form. The consultation is completely free. It's only about 45 minutes to an hour. let us review first before you do the credit repair, because you may not need credit repair. I'm not saying you don't, but let's make sure that you don't need credit repair. Let's not waste the money.
Right. Let me see if it's something else. Okay, yeah, that was the only one. Okay. All right, you guys. So make sure you follow Rosalind on Instagram and make sure you follow her Jada page as well. Go check it out. They got book bags on there, you guys. And I thank you guys for joining Bay Talks podcast. You have a wonderful night.
All right, good night.